Hey everybody, it's me, Greg Mannarino. Thank you, Greg Harry. I appreciate that. We have something in common. It's pretty obvious, right? Anyway, people, this is my post-market wrap-up on this Thursday, August 31st, 2023. Uh, as usual, so much to talk about. A couple of things are just so in our freaking face right now. It's out of control. Let's start off. Let me just get my head on right and just talk about this market real quick. 10-year yield sitting at about 4.09, although the relative strength of the dollar did jump higher today. Despite the jump higher in the relative strength of the dollar, are you watching crude oil? Crude oil is surging higher, people. This is the lifeblood of the system. And we need to talk more about that, and we will in just a little bit. There's something going on which I want all of you to focus on more so than before. All right, so we'll cover that in just a little bit. So anyway, as I was saying, 10-year yield not doing too much. The risk in this market remains pretty high, although it came down significantly as of late. Again, some mysterious entity or entities. We know that BlackRock is admitting that they're buying the debt. The Fed's buying the debt. There's a lot of debt buying going on, keeping rates lower, bond yields lower here. That has reduced risk in this market. And I really believe that the Fed is in here buying the market too. We outlined all of this before it happened, and it seems to be really kind of in our face here. But we're not out of the woods by a long shot. With regard to crude oil, you and I we've been talking about it pretty much every day. We topped out at 84, went back down, formed a new bottom. We started watching this at $67. If you recall, I said, this is where we should be like getting into crude. We topped out 84. We did retreat a little bit, found a new bottom. We're on our way higher, and it could be substantial. We could be on the cusp of a very large move with crude oil. Let me just lay out a couple of things that have to happen for my crude oil people out here, my commodity investors. Okay. Crude oil needs to break above 84 and maintain that. Okay. At one point tomorrow, the next day, whatever, break above 84, not again fall below, allow 84 to become a new floor, and then bam. And I mean bam. If you are a technical trader, look, I'm not telling anyone what they should do, okay? But you might want to look at ticker XLE. This is an exchange-traded fund where you can buy energy, and it looks pretty bullish to me, okay? Anything can happen here, but there's, again, so much going on. So we going back to the market real quick, cryptocurrency is falling pretty much across the board. Gold a little lower today, silver higher. The real story is, again, crude. And if I didn't say it, it's crude oil. Now, we got this inflation report today, the PCE, personal consumption expenditures. Joshua, thank you. If we ever went to a silverback, look, I think the chances of us, the United States, if that's what you're talking about, going back to a gold or silverback currency are zero. Okay, well, this whole thing with the BRICS nations, we're going to touch on that a little bit more moving forward. I've already explained to you my take on it, and there's a lot more going on. Which I want to talk about here. So anyway, going back to this inflation report today, it was very highly anticipated. The market didn't really like this report too much. The Dow fell under pressure. The S&P 500 fell under pressure. The NASDAQ put on a little gain here. But this PCA, personal consumption expenditures, this is the Federal Reserve's favorite indicator to track inflation. And to my surprise, this is something I put together earlier today. It's in your inbox if you subscribe to my free newsletter. I'm going to give you one guess as to what this report showed. PCE inflation report, key measure ticks higher in July. Not only that, consumer prices are now, this is their own numbers, okay? This is not something I'm making up or anybody else's. They're saying we're 3.3% higher year over year. Now, again, if you were to watch, and this is what really gets to me, I want to sometimes, choke someone. If you're flipping through Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC, these are really the main propaganda ministry channels out there. They're talking about this fight. They like they believe, or they want you to believe, should I say, that the Federal Reserve is literally in some kind of a fight. They want to bring down inflation so bad. They're in the fight of their lives. People, this could not, you know this already. Okay, I'm preaching to the choir. In no way, shape, or form is this true. It has no bearing on fact. Okay, central banks have been raising rates in concert. You know this. They've been doing it for two reasons, essentially. One, to cut off the availability of credit to small businesses, which are being erased, and putting pressure on the consumer, increasing that pressure on the consumer. If the Fed wanted to, if any central bank, let's just, with the Fed, it's a joke here. Do you realize we have a no reserve? We used to have a fractional reserve system. We had a fractional reserve system. We have a zero reserve system today. If the Federal Reserve would go back to a fractional reserve system, in other words, having these institutions hold a fraction of cash in reserve, it would contract the money supply and inflation would go away. But you'll never hear that. Never once have I heard a sound, a peep, a syllable, or anything with regard to this, okay, from the mainstream media. They won't let you know because you can't know. You understand? So there's no fight going on here. And I know you're laughing. You're probably watching the same stuff as I do, laughing, because there is no fight. Central banks are going to continue to inflate because that's their end game. That's their goal. And we're going to see a lot more with regard to that, and so much more moving forward here. So that's this key inflation report. It's unbelievable. You really can't. You can't make it up. Joey Sox, how you doing, dude? A lot of stuff is coming, bro, and I think it's pretty obvious. Not only is this a wipeout of an entire class of people around the world, but a new system, and this is going to lead, and that leads me up. Thank you for bringing that up, Joey Sox. But this is going to lead to something else, and I want to cover this. This is in your inbox as well. All right, this is something I really think it's very short. I'm going to go over this real quick, but I want you to have it. So if you are a subscriber to my newsletter, I know every single one of you are. Print this up for yourself. Share this stuff. Get it out there. Now, there's so much talk lately, especially with this whole BRICS nations thing, and their alliances. You have to look at who they're making these new alliances with. These are oil-rich, energy-rich nations. Why? Why are they what's the real setup here? Is it because they think it's fun? No, it's way, way, way more than that. So let me just read this to you. And again, I don't want you to, what's the word? I don't want you to take anything I say as gospel truth. I want you to consider this, what I'm saying, and make up your own mind. Do you think the way I am? Well, here we go. So Lions and Friends. With the recent announcement of more oil-rich nations making alliances with the BRICS nations, it should be clear to you, and I'm just saying this, maybe it's not clear to you, but it should be clear to you that this presents more than just a threat to the petrodollar. Let me ask you this. Okay. How many of you understand why the US dollar is the world reserve currency? It's because OPEC nations agreed to price their oil in dollars. In other words, when a nation, well, this is changing, but when a nation wanted, for the most part, to buy oil, they had to convert their currency into US dollars. That created an ever-increasing demand for those US dollars. This is something which has been a very good thing for the United States here. Again, we get to export inflation, now we export propaganda. Or a combination of the two. So anyway, that's how the petrodollar works. Now, this is going away. Now, let's talk more about this. What I see happening, and this is my opinion, all right? This is where you come in. Okay, what I see happening here is the BRICS nations are seeking to dominate the world's energy markets. Having control of the world's energy markets will undoubtedly not just threaten the US dollar as the world reserve currency, but it will kill it. So BRICS nations, they're forming these alliances. I mean, they need to control energy. What do you think is going to happen? Do you believe that the Federal Reserve at the petrodollar system. This is good. They're just going to allow this to happen. I believe millions and millions of people are going to lose their lives because of this. Again, this is going to lead to war. It's already started, and it's going to get much worse here. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that this will not go unanswered. And these things are really happening. It's not like we're making this up. We're not speculating. Oil-rich nations are seeking to join with these BRICS nations, which is a clear threat to the U.S. dollar. So make no mistake, the BRICS nations are not just playing games here. All right. The BRICS nations are clearly seeking to dethrone the dollar, and that will lead to suffering, death, pain, war, and everything else you can think about. In my opinion, listen to this too. In my opinion, the best way, and maybe the only way, this is me, for the BRICS alliance to stop the world's reliance on the U.S. dollar is to control the bulk of the energy market. Now, does this make sense to you? Or is this just something that's so far-fetched that you can't possibly imagine that it's ever going to happen? Because let me tell you something in case you don't know. It is happening. It's happening now. And I think people are whistling past the graveyard on this. This is really life. I did a video, and I said in the title of that video, things are going to change. And I want all of you to be prepared for that change. We are living through some very, very interesting times. It's very hard to deny that. We are going to see, I believe, not too far off here, maybe in the next few years, this conflict that's already brewing here with these oil-rich nations saying, hey, you know what? We're sick and tired. We're not doing this anymore. I can't tell you how much of the world, and maybe some of you aren't from the United States, are sick and tired of the U.S. dollar's dominance here. The Federal Reserve is not going to take this lightly. Tell me again who the enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve is. In case you don't know, it's the United States military, its full arsenal, including its nuclear arsenal. They will point that entire weapon inward or outward. And I think we know where it's already. Do you think, being that you and I are clearly aware of what's going on? I mean, I don't know how many people are talking about it. Think about it. Why is it that these alliances are being made? Why are they being made? Just for fun? You think this is just, they're playing a game here? No, this is a tremendous game of chess going on around the world. And again, it comes back to that old thing that I've been telling you about. Nobody knows until everybody knows. And this to me looks like it's happening. It is going to happen, and it's going to lead to human suffering on a scale that people are not going to believe. And I have to say, you and I are going to pay a terrible price for this. They will drag us into anything. They will make up reasons we have to go blow this up and bomb that and kill X amount of people. It's just a whole crazy thing. Anyway, it just seems that way to me. And I really want to hear from you. I want your take on that. Again, I'm not trying to, I don't want you to think the way I think, unless you agree, and you're allowed to disagree with me on everything. You understand? It's the truth. Abe, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, that's it, people. Pretty much for today. And now, again, I got in a little trouble. I'm getting people yelling at me again. Greg, you're not answering my questions. Greg, you're not answering my questions. Please take that opportunity right now if you want to ask any questions of me, because if I don't answer your question, I apologize. Sometimes I don't see them. So, please, if you have something you want to say it now, because I don't want to get yelled at. Gold standard. What about it? There's no way we're going back to a gold standard in any way, shape, or form. I told you this for the longest time. A central bank's power resides in one thing, and that's their ability to issue debt. Period. A gold standard would take away that power. They're not going to. Why do you think, talking about a gold standard, let me ask you this, and I've covered this before. Why is it that they've taken gold and silver out of the coinage? They don't even want you holding it in your hands. You understand? You're not even allowed to do that. That should tell you something. So Go out and make your own gold standard. Okay, bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Something I've been telling people for, I don't know, over 10 freaking years. It should be obvious. Um, anyway, that's pretty much where we're at here, honestly. Uh, no, Michael, I don't know why you'd be actually screwed. I think you're probably okay. You're probably not making anything that's even remotely keeping up with the rate of inflation. This is great. So anyway, I think you're probably okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Is it? Look, I spoke about this before. About rolling. If you like, all right, you can roll your cash into and out of short-term treasuries here, 3 months. It's probably a safe bet. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. You know, again, you can earn 5%, 5% doing this kind of stuff. It's probably a safe way to play it. Do I think it's the best way to play it? No. Personally, look, I'm not going to change my perspective on this. I don't believe they're done yet. Okay, we're seeing some pretty profound moves here in the debt market. They're keeping rates suppressed. This keeps that doorway open for cash to make its way into the stock market. If energy takes off, and it looks like it will, okay, you and I don't follow crude oil because I think it's fun either. Okay, I do it because it's the lifeblood of the system. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. If they manage, and it looks like they're going to, keep crude propped up, that boosts the entire energy sector of the market, and it boosts the financial sector. This pulls the whole market up with it. You understand? I am not ready by a long shot right now, honestly, to say we got to get out of this market. I think we need to be long the market. I know it sounds insane, and maybe people look. I have access. I have access to get my cash out of here like this. You understand? A lot of people don't. So my situation may be a little different than most people. You understand? But I'm not ready to say, we got to run from. I don't think so. We watch this market go straight up, straight up, straight up, no pullbacks, no corrections. Then we get one. Okay. We watch risk in this market make a profound move higher. Then all of a sudden, I was trying to reverse here. We need to see, look, there are so many little facets to this. It's not just a matter of one thing. This is what makes this complicated. Yes, I still like JEPI. I like, this is kind of what I'm talking about. I own a lot of this. I want to buy more of this. People, on top of that, okay, you need, again, this is just my opinion and you're entitled to your own. You need exposure to commodities, a broad basket of them moving forward here. I've gone out of my way to put out at least five newsletters with a whole bunch of exchange traded funds you might want to look at. You want to hold gold or silver? That's probably the best bet for you, holding it in your hand. But if you don't want to, and there are some people that don't ask me why. Okay, but that's how it is. If you'd rather put your cash into a fund that will give you exposure to commodities or a broad basket of them. And I can't imagine moving forward that's a bad place to be. Does that make sense to you? Again, how's it going to play out? Debt market meltdown, put pressure on the stock market. What we've seen lately is just, a small fraction of that. We watched risk in this market rise, 10-year yield jumping. That did put pressure on the stock market, exactly like I said it would do. Okay, I'm not making this stuff up. I don't pull it out of a hat. This will occur to a much greater degree moving forward, okay? And then eventually, cash will make its way into commodities. And of course, I also believe cryptocurrencies as well. I've been telling you the same story for years, and I am not going to change that because I've studied this over and 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 over again. And that's the best scenario that I can possibly come up with. In the beginning, all right, let me just say this too, and I've covered this, but just bear with me on this. Eventually, we're going to get a meltdown here that's going to spin people's heads around like the exorcist in the debt market. The debt market is a driver of this entire thing. Okay, we have a hyper bubble in the stock market on the back of that, a hyper bubble in real estate because of that. Okay, so all this cash bleeding out of all this, eventually you're just going to have cash that's just going to move. It just moves from one reality into another. Generally, cash moves through the markets in predictable ways. But initially, again, let's just throw a hypothetical out here. Okay. All of a sudden, we see the 10-year yield spiking 5%, 5.5%, bang, 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 bang. No one knows what's going on. What's happening? Why is this happening? Well, people are dumping this stuff because that's just the way it's going to play out. That would crush the stock market. That would also suck everything down with it. The initial knee-jerk reaction is always the same. This is always the same. Look back as far as you want to go with this market. The market tends to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Understand? That would present an incredible opportunity, I think, okay, for us to acquire suppressed assets, gold, more importantly, silver, which is my favorite asset of all time. I think you all know that. Anyway, you kiss his silver and put them on my eyes. I love that. I love that. I don't have any silver on my desk right now. I just moved recently, so I got it all kind of stashed everywhere. Anyway, people, look, I hope I have answered questions for all of you. Anyway, because I keep getting Greg and not answering my questions, and I'm doing my best. I'm doing my freaking best here to keep all of you ahead of the curve. Energy companies, yes, people. I think that's a good place to be too. Anacott Steel. Yeah, we could buy Anacott Steel too. No racing tonight. The track is actually closed, I guess, because of this storm that went by me. They had some damage over there. Sunshine Girl, thank you. Thank all of you. Look at all my friends here, and I love all of you. I really do, from the heart. We're a team. This is our thing. Yes, I'm going to get some car videos out soon. Look who's here. Everybody, all my friends. I love all of you. You're awesome. Every single one of you. Thank you for those thumbs up. We got 619 so far. Maybe we could improve on that a little bit. Those are so important. Like I'm telling you, those thumbs up get these videos seen. If you give these videos a thumbs up, YouTube shares the video. Other than that, they don't do it. So these thumbs up are a way to just get the videos out there. I'm not flicking my eyeball again. Why would you want me to do that? It hurt me last time I did that. So I'm just not doing it. Anyway, all right, people. I will see all of you again, as usual, in the morning. We'll put this together as we always do. But I want you to think about these things. I don't just want you to forget about this inflation report. That's one thing. But this is what I really want you to focus on. As I said, this is in your inbox. Okay, this petrodollar threat. I want you to ponder what we've spoken about here. Think about this. I mean, this is not happening by accident. I really do believe, and it's the only way they can do it. If the BRICS nations truly gain control of the energy market, and I think they want to do that, I can tell you right now that the petrodollar is dead. It's dead. So, all right. With that said, people, love you a lot. See you in the morning. Thank you. Up to almost 800 thumbs up here. I will see you in the morning, and we'll put this all together. All right. Take it easy.